Hey there, you're looking kind of cute. Don't forget to subscribe and check out all my other socials. Enjoy. The normal talk during dinner stopped for a moment because of a comment. Cash Michael Henderson, who was 22 and wearing an old gray t-shirt, had started a debate without meaning to. "It's just that," he said, already knowing it was a mistake. "Some women take a very long time to get ready. They care a lot about how they look." The room changed right away. Everyone stopped moving their forks and knives. Everyone looked at Cash with interest and judgment. "Go ahead, little brother. I want to hear more about how we waste our time." "I just meant..." Cash pushed his brown hair back, something he did when he was nervous. "Look at Dad. He gets ready in about 10 minutes. 7 on a good day," his father said from behind his newspaper, trying not to take sides. "And you women start getting ready 2 hours before we have to leave for anything." Cash pointed with his fork. "It just doesn't make sense." His cousin Rebecca, who was visiting that week, put down her water. She was 28 and worked in marketing. She smoothed her navy blazer and stared at him. "Inefficient. That's an interesting word." "He thinks it's easy," Dana said, smiling wider. "Just put on some makeup, wear a dress, and you're ready, right, Cash?" "I didn't say easy," I said. "You said we take forever, which implies the process shouldn't take that long." Rebecca's tone had shifted to what Cash recognized as her closing a deal voice. "So you think you could do it faster?" "That's not what I..." "Because I think," Melody interrupted, dabbing her lips with her napkin, "that someone who's never experienced what goes into presenting yourself as a woman has no business making judgments about the time it requires." The three women exchanged glances. Cash had seen that look before, usually right before they ganged up on him about something. His father rustled his newspaper louder. "You know what would be educational?" Dana's voice had taken on a dangerously sweet quality. "A practical demonstration. An experiential learning opportunity," Rebecca added, her professional vocabulary making it sound almost reasonable. "Girls, I don't think..." their father started. "Harold, didn't you say you had to check on something in the garage?" Melody's tone suggested the question wasn't really a question. The newspaper lowered just enough for Cash to see his father's apologetic glance before he folded it neatly. "Right, that thing. In the garage." He pushed back from the table. "Very important thing." "Dad!" Cash's voice cracked slightly. "Sorry, son. You walked into this one yourself." Harold patted his shoulder on the way past. "I'll be in the garage if anyone needs me. Way out in the garage, with my headphones on." The kitchen door swung shut with finality. "Now then," Melody stood, smoothing her black slacks. "I believe we have a lesson to prepare." "Mom, come on, I didn't mean anything by it." "Of course you didn't, sweetie. That's exactly why this will be so educational." She moved toward the stairs. "Girls, I'll get the supplies. You bring our student." Cash tried to push back from the table, but Dana and Rebecca flanked him immediately. "You can either walk upstairs with dignity," Dana informed him, "or we can drag you. Your choice." "This is kidnapping." "This is education," Rebecca corrected. "Besides, weren't you just saying how it doesn't take that long? We're simply giving you the opportunity to prove your hypothesis." They herded him up the stairs like efficient sheepdogs, blocking any escape attempts with practiced ease. Cash found himself in his mother's bedroom, which had been transformed into something resembling a salon. Various bottles, compacts, and tools covered the vanity. 3 chairs had been arranged facing the mirror. "Sit." Melody pointed to the center chair. "Mom, this is..." "Sit, or I tell Grandma Henderson why you really missed her birthday party last month." Cash sat. "Smart boy." Dana pulled his brown hair back, examining it critically. "Good length to work with. Not quite shoulder length, but close enough." "What are you..." "Shh." Rebecca appeared with a pink bathrobe. "First lesson. Preparation is key. You can't apply makeup properly in that ratty t-shirt." Before he could protest, they had him changed into the bathrobe. Cash clutched it closed, acutely aware of how thin the material felt. "Now," Melody settled onto a small stool in front of him, "let's discuss what actually goes into getting ready as a woman. First, skincare." She produced a series of bottles. Cleanser, toner, moisturizer, primer. Each serves a specific purpose. This is ridiculous. Ow! Cash flinched as Dana began plucking his eyebrows. Hold still. You want to understand the time investment? This is part of it. She wielded the tweezers with surgical precision. Most women maintain their eyebrows regularly. You've been blessed with decent natural shape, but they need work. While she's doing that, Rebecca said, filing his nails, let's talk about color theory. You can't just throw on any shade of lipstick. It needs to complement your skin tone, coordinate with your outfit, and suit the occasion. Cash tried to focus on anything except the persistent plucking. Can't you just pick one color and stick with it? All three women laughed. Oh, honey, Melody shook her head. Would you wear the same shirt to a job interview that you'd wear to the gym? That's different. Is it? Rebecca finished shaping his left hand. Presentation is presentation. The effort you claim we waste? It's actually careful consideration of context, appropriateness, and personal expression. Done with the brows, Dana stepped back to admire her work. Now for the fun part. The fun part turned out to be 45 minutes of what Cash could only describe as facial reconstruction. Foundation, concealer, powder, each applied with brushes that looked more like surgical instruments than makeup tools. Close your eyes, Melody instructed, wielding an eyeshadow palette. We're going with neutral tones, natural but enhanced. Why does it take so many colors for natural? Cash asked, genuinely puzzled as he watched her blend 3 different shades of brown. Because natural doesn't mean simple, she explained. We're creating dimension, correcting asymmetries, enhancing features. It's art and science combined. Lips parted, Dana commanded, approaching with a lip liner. Cash complied reluctantly. The pencil felt strange against his lips, followed by lipstick and something sticky Dana called gloss. And now, Rebecca announced dramatically, the hair. They worked in concert, one holding sections while another curled, the third arranging the finished pieces. Cash watched in the mirror as his straight brown hair transformed into soft waves that framed his face. There, Melody stepped back. Take a look. Cash stared at his reflection. The face looking back was his, but not. Softer somehow. His brown eyes looked larger, his cheekbones more defined. The pink lips seemed to belong to someone else entirely. This took over an hour, he said quietly. And we rushed, Dana pointed out. Normally, I'd spend at least 20 minutes on eyes alone. Now for clothes. Rebecca disappeared into Melody's closet. Let's see. You're thin enough to fit into some of my things. I don't think, You started this, Melody reminded him. Might as well see it through. Besides, you can't fully understand the time investment without the complete experience. They produced a black dress, simple but elegant, hitting just above the knee. Cash stared at it like it might bite. I can't wear that. Why not? Dana challenged. You were so confident about how easy it all is. Proving you wrong requires the full demonstration. With much negotiation and his eyes firmly closed, they got him into the dress. It felt strange against his skin, the fabric lighter than anything he usually wore. They added nude pantyhose, another 10 minutes minimum to avoid runs, Rebecca noted, and low black heels. I can't walk in these. Sure you can? Dana hauled him to his feet. Heel to toe, shorter steps. Practice. Cash wobbled across the room like a newborn giraffe. This is impossible. This is what we do every day, Melody corrected, often in higher heels, while carrying purses and laptop bags, in all weather conditions. After 20 minutes of practice, Cash could manage a somewhat normal walk. They added jewelry, simple silver earrings, clip-ons, thankfully, and a delicate necklace. And now, Rebecca announced, checking her watch, we've been at this for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Still think we take too long? Cash looked at himself in the full-length mirror. The person staring back was unrecognizable. The black dress hugged curves he didn't know he had. The heels made his legs look longer, and the overall effect was, I look like a girl. You look lovely, Melody corrected, then paused. How do you feel? It was a strange question. Cash expected to feel ridiculous, embarrassed, eager to get back into his jeans and t-shirt. Instead, he felt different. Not bad different, just different. I don't know, he admitted. Well, Dana said, a glint in her eye, you're about to find out. We have reservations at Chez Laurent in an hour. What? No, absolutely not. You questioned the time we take to get ready, Rebecca said smoothly. Part of that preparation is for public presentation. You can't fully understand without experiencing it. I've learned my lesson, okay? You were right. It takes time and effort and you look beautiful, Melody interrupted softly. But if you're truly uncomfortable, we won't force you. Cash looked at his reflection again. The strange feeling intensified. He didn't want to admit it, but part of him was curious. What would it be like to walk into a restaurant looking like this? To experience what his mother and sister and cousin experienced every day? What if someone recognizes me? Honey, Dana laughed, I barely recognize you. Trust me, no one at Chez Laurent is going to connect this elegant young woman with Cash Henderson. Young woman. The words sent an unexpected flutter through his stomach. One dinner, he negotiated, and then I'm changing back. Deal, Rebecca grinned. Though we should probably give you a name for the evening. Can't very well call you Cash. They debated briefly before settling on Cassandra. Cassie for short, Melody decided. Close enough to remember, different enough to fit. The drive to the restaurant was surreal. Cassie, sat carefully in the back seat, hyper-aware of how the dress rode up slightly when sitting. Dana had loaned him a small black purse. You need something for your phone and lipstick, which felt alien on his shoulder. Stop fidgeting, Rebecca advised from the driver's seat. Confidence is half of presentation. Easier said than done. As they pulled up to the restaurant, Cash's heart hammered against his ribs. The valet opened his door, offering a hand to help him out. The simple gesture, one he'd seen performed countless times, took on new meaning when directed at him. Thank you, he managed, voice pitched slightly higher than normal. The heels clicked against the pavement as they walked to the entrance. Cash concentrated on each step, terrified of stumbling. Melody linked her arm through his, providing subtle support. You're doing fine, she murmured. The maitre d' smiled warmly. Good evening, ladies. Reservation? Henderson, party of 4, Rebecca replied smoothly. Of course, right this way. They were led to a corner booth, Cash acutely aware of other diners' gazes. Did they know? Could they tell? But the look seemed appreciative rather than suspicious, and gradually his panic subsided. See? Dana nudged him once they were seated. Just another table of women out for dinner. The menu provided a welcome distraction, though eating proved challenging. Every bite required careful consideration to avoid smudging lipstick or dropping food on the dress. Another thing that takes time, Melody noted, watching him navigate a forkful of salad. Eating gracefully in lipstick is an acquired skill. Halfway through the main course, something shifted. The initial terror had faded, replaced by an odd sense of belonging. Cash found himself laughing at Rebecca's work stories, contributing to the conversation without the usual self-consciousness that plagued him in social situations. The dress no longer felt like a costume, but simply what he was wearing. The heels had become manageable, even comfortable, in a weird way. You're a natural, Dana observed during dessert. Look at you, sitting with your legs crossed, holding your wine glass correctly. Not a smudge on your lipstick. Cash glanced down, realizing she was right. Somewhere in the past hour, he'd stopped thinking about each movement and just existed, as Cassie. The thought should have been alarming. Instead, it felt like puzzle pieces clicking into place. I need to use the restroom, he announced, then froze. Oh, that's... Which one do I... Come with me, Rebecca stood. First rule of women's restrooms. We go in groups anyway. The ladies' room was another revelation, cleaner than what he was used to, with a sitting area and full-length mirrors. Rebecca touched up her lipstick while Cash washed his hands, catching his reflection again. The woman in the mirror smiled back. You okay? Rebecca asked, noticing his expression. I think so. This is just... a lot. Good a lot or bad a lot? Cash considered. I honestly don't know. They returned to find the check already paid. The walk back to the car felt different, more confident, less concentrated. Cash had found a rhythm in the heels, a sway to his walk that felt natural rather than performed. Back home, his father had retreated to the bedroom, leaving them the living room. Cash expected to immediately change back into his regular clothes. Instead, he found himself reluctant to end the evening. "So," Melody said, settling onto the couch with a cup of tea. "What did you learn?" Cash sat carefully, smoothing the dress over his thighs. Another gesture that had somehow become automatic. That I'm an idiot who shouldn't make assumptions about things I don't understand. Besides that, he thought about it, that it's work, real work. The makeup alone requires skill I don't have. The clothes are uncomfortable in ways I never imagined. The shoes are basically torture devices, and doing it all while being expected to look effortless? I get it now. But, Dana prompted, sensing there was more. Cash fidgeted with the hem of the dress. But I also kind of liked it. The admission hung in the air. He rushed to fill the silence. Not in a weird way. Just, I felt different. More confident, maybe, like wearing a really good suit to a job interview, except more. There's nothing weird about enjoying feeling put together, Rebecca said gently. Or about enjoying feminine presentation. Guys don't usually... Says who? Melody interrupted. Cash, honey. There's no rule book that says you can't appreciate or even prefer feminine things. But I'm not... He trailed off, uncertain what he was or wasn't. You don't have to be anything, Dana said. You can just be you, whatever that looks like. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Cash found himself reluctant to wash off the makeup, to change out of the dress. The evening had started as a lesson in humility, but had become something else entirely. A door had opened, and he wasn't sure he wanted to close it. "Can I ask you something?" he said eventually. "And please don't make it weird." "Of course, sweetie," Melody assured him. "How did you know? When you were young, how did you know you were supposed to be girls?" The three women exchanged glances. "I don't think it's about supposed to be," Rebecca said thoughtfully. "It's about what feels right, what makes you feel like yourself. And that can be different for everyone," Dana added. "Some people know from childhood, some figure it out later, some flow between different presentations. Some people just are who they are," Melody said softly, studying her child's face. "And sometimes trying something new helps clarify what that means." Cash nodded slowly. Would it be okay if I didn't change right away? Maybe slept on it?" "Of course. Though you'll want to remove the makeup before bed. Let me show you how." The makeup removal process was another education. Special removers, gentle techniques, multiple steps. By the end, Cash's face was clean, but somehow still felt different. Changed. In his room, he carefully hung up the dress instead of tossing it on a chair. The heels were placed neatly by the closet. He put on pajamas, his usual oversized t-shirt and shorts, but they felt strange now, too big, too... something. Sleep didn't come easily. Cash's mind churned with questions, possibilities, fears. When he finally drifted off, he dreamed of walking confidently in heels, of lipstick that never smudged, of a reflection that smiled genuinely back. Morning brought no clarity. Cash woke early, padding downstairs to find his mother already in the kitchen, still in her robe with coffee brewing. "Couldn't sleep either?" she asked. "Not really." He accepted the mug she offered. "Mom, I think something's wrong with me." "Why would you say that?" "Because The word stuck. I liked it. Being Cassie. More than liked it. It felt right. And that can't be normal. Melody set down her coffee and took his hands. "Sweetheart, listen to me. There is nothing wrong with you. Nothing at all. But guys don't... Some do. More than you might think. And even if they didn't, that wouldn't make your feelings invalid. I don't know what to do with this." His voice cracked slightly. "I woke up and my first thought was disappointment that I couldn't do my makeup. That's not... I'm not... You're my child," Melody said firmly. "And you're perfect exactly as you are, whoever that turns out to be. What if I wanted to try it again, being Cassie? Then we try it again, For as long as you want, in whatever way feels comfortable. And if I wanted to maybe see someone, a therapist, or someone who knows about this, then we'll find someone. Dr. Martinez has excellent referrals for gender specialists. Gender specialists. The words felt huge. Is that what this is? A gender thing? I don't know, honey. Only you can answer that. But whatever it is, we'll figure it out together. Donna appeared in the doorway, hair messy from sleep. Family meeting without me? Just talking, Cash said quickly. She studied his face, then nodded. Well, if you need to borrow clothes again, my closet is available. Though we should probably get you your own things if this is going to be a regular occurrence. I don't know if it is. That's okay too. The day passed in a blur of normalcy tinged with possibility. Cash went through his usual Saturday routine, gym, errands, video games with friends online, but everything felt slightly off, like wearing a costume. When evening came, he found himself standing outside his mother's bedroom door. "Come in," she called before he could knock. She was at her vanity, applying moisturizer. "I wondered if you'd come. Is it okay if Could you help me again?" "Of course." She patted the chair beside her. "Though, if this is going to continue, you should learn to do it yourself." The second transformation felt less strange. Cassie, paid attention this time, watching each step, asking questions. Foundation to even skin tone, concealer for under eyes, powder to set, each element building toward the final result. "I was thinking," Melody said while curling his hair, "if you're interested, we could go shopping tomorrow. Get you some basics of your own." "I don't know if I'm ready for that." "Just to have, no pressure to use them." Cassie nodded, watching her brown waves take shape in the mirror. Tonight's outfit was simpler, jeans that Dana had outgrown and a purple sweater. Still clearly feminine, but less dramatic than the dress. "Better?" Melody asked. "Different, but good different." They spent the evening at home. Harold, having been briefed, simply raised an eyebrow when Cassie joined them for dinner. "Pass the potatoes, please," was all he said. The normalcy of it was almost surreal. Just family dinner, except one member looked dramatically different than usual. Rebecca had returned to her own apartment, but she texted throughout the evening, sending makeup tutorials and outfit suggestions. "You're being very calm about this," Cassie observed to her father during a commercial break. Harold muted the TV. "Your mother and I have always known you were different, kiddo. Not bad different. Just, you march to your own drum. If this is your rhythm, who are we to say it's wrong? You don't think it's weird? I think you're brave for exploring it. Not everyone has that courage." The weekend passed in a series of small experiments. Saturday night, Cassie tried doing her own makeup with disastrous results. Sunday morning brought a successful second attempt. Sunday afternoon was the promised shopping trip, which proved both thrilling and terrifying. "Start small," Melody advised, steering toward the basics. "Undergarments that fit properly, a few tops, maybe a skirt or two. What if someone sees me?" "Shopping for girlfriend," Dana suggested. "Though honestly, look around, no one cares what anyone else is buying." She was right. The other shoppers were absorbed in their own pursuits. The cashier barely glanced up while ringing up purchases. The mundane normalcy of buying women's clothes felt anticlimactic after so much anxiety. Back home, Cassie tried on each purchase. The simple act of wearing underwear that fit properly, not the masculine boxers, but something designed for the body she was presenting, felt revolutionary. Each item was carefully hung in the back of the closet, a secret wardrobe waiting. Monday loomed with its return to routine. Cash went to bed Sunday night, uncertain who would wake up in the morning. The answer surprised him. Cassie woke up, not physically. He still wore his usual pajamas, still had his usual face, but inside, something had shifted. The weekend experiment had cracked open a door that refused to close. "I think I need help," he told his mother over breakfast. Both were dressed for work. She in her real estate agent blazer, he in his IT consultant khakis. But the clothes felt wrong on him now. "I'll call Dr. Martinez today," she promised. "We'll get you someone to talk to." Work was torture. Cash went through the motions, fixing network issues and updating servers, but his mind was elsewhere. Every woman he passed sparked a mixture of envy and curiosity. How did they make it look so easy? Had they always known who they were? "You okay?" his coworker asked after the third time he'd zoned out during a meeting. "Yeah, just processing some stuff." "Well, process faster. We've got that system upgrade Thursday. 4 days away. 4 days of pretending everything was normal when nothing felt normal anymore." That evening, Cassie emerged again. This time she managed the makeup alone, not perfectly, but passably. The purple sweater made another appearance, paired with the new skirt. Small steps, but each one felt monumental. "I made an appointment," Melody announced over dinner. Dr. Chen comes highly recommended. She specializes in gender identity issues. Friday at 3 o'clock, if you can leave work early. Gender identity issues. Cassie pushed food around her plate. "Is that what I have?" "You have questions," Dana corrected. "Dr. Chen can help you find answers." The week developed a pattern. Cash by day, Cassie by evening. Each transition felt more natural, though the dual existence created its own tension. Wednesday night, Cassie sat at the computer researching, falling down rabbit holes of terminology and experiences. Transgender, non-binary, gender fluid, crossdresser. Each label came with its own community, its own validity, but which one fit? Or did any of them? "You don't need a label," Rebecca reminded her during a video call. "You just need to be comfortable with yourself." "But how do I know what myself is?" "Trial and error, hun. Same way we figure out everything else in life." Thursday's system upgrade provided welcome distraction. Cash buried himself in work, grateful for problems with clear solutions. But even surrounded by servers and cables, his mind wandered. Tomorrow he'd talk to someone who might have answers, or at least better questions. That night, Cassie attempted a more ambitious look. Smokier eyes, bolder lips, hair pinned up to show the earrings. The effect was striking, sophisticated rather than soft. "Gorgeous," Melody pronounced, "though maybe save that look for evenings out." What if there aren't any evenings out? What if this is just playing dress-up? Then it's playing dress-up. There's nothing wrong with that either. But it didn't feel like playing anymore. It felt like practice. Friday arrived with equal parts anticipation and dread. Cash left work at 2 o'clock, claiming a doctor's appointment. Not technically a lie. The drive to Dr. Chen's office took 20 minutes that felt like hours. The waiting room was deliberately neutral. Soft colors, abstract art, no indication of the conversations that happened behind the inner door. Cash fidgeted with his phone until a woman emerged from the back. "Casey Henderson?" He'd given a neutral version of his name, unsure who would be showing up to this appointment. "That's me." Dr. Chen was younger than expected, with kind eyes behind stylish glasses. Her office continued the neutral theme, though Cash noticed the small pride flag on her bookshelf. "So," she said once they were settled, "what brings you here today?" The story spilled out. The dinner conversation, the makeover, the restaurant, the growing certainty that something fundamental had shifted. Dr. Chen listened without judgment, occasionally asking clarifying questions. "How do you feel when you present as Cassie?" "Like myself," which doesn't make sense because I've been Cash for 22 years. "And how do you feel as Cash?" He considered. "Like I'm wearing a costume, going through motions. I used to think everyone felt that way, but now you've experienced an alternative. Is that what this is? Am I transgender? I can't answer that for you. Only you can determine your identity. What I can do is help you explore these feelings safely." They talked for the full hour, covering everything from childhood memories to future fears. Dr. Chen assigned homework, journaling, experimenting with presentation in different contexts, paying attention to what felt authentic versus performed. "There's no rush," she assured him as the session ended. "This is your journey, at your pace." Cash sat in his car afterward, processing. No definitive answers, but somehow that felt right. This wasn't a problem to solve, but an exploration to undertake. At home, he found his family gathered in the living room. They looked up expectantly as he entered. "How did it go?" Melody asked. "Good. Confusing, but good. She wants me to experiment more, see what feels right." "Experiment how?" Dana inquired. Cash took a breath. "Like maybe being Cassie more, not just evenings, maybe a full day or a weekend?" "We could go away," Rebecca suggested. She'd arrived while he was at therapy. "My friend has a cabin up north, somewhere you could be Cassie without worrying about running into anyone you know." "That's actually not a bad idea." Plans formed quickly. The coming weekend, they'd drive 3 hours to a small town where anonymity was guaranteed. Cassie could exist fully, without the safety net of changing back for work or errands. The prospect terrified and thrilled in equal measure. Saturday morning arrived gray and drizzly. "Perfect weather for a road trip," Melody declared. Cash packed carefully, the purple sweater, the black dress, several new purchases he hadn't yet worn. His male clothes went in too, just in case, but they felt like lifelines he hoped not to need. "Ready?" Dana asked, loading the last bag. "No, yes, maybe?" "Sounds about right." The transformation happened at the cabin. Cash entered, Cassie emerged. This time she chose a casual sundress in soft yellow, something she'd bought but hadn't dared wear. It felt bold, decidedly feminine in a way the jeans and sweater hadn't. "You look happy," Rebecca observed. Cassie twirled experimentally, the skirt flaring out. "I feel happy. Scared, but happy." The weekend became a series of firsts. First time grocery shopping as Cassie. First time ordering coffee with her feminine voice. First time existing in the world for more than a few hours without the option to change back. "How do you feel?" Dr. Chen asked during their phone check-in Saturday evening. "Free," Cassie answered without hesitation. "Like I'm not pretending for the first time in my life." Sunday brought unexpected challenges. A group of young men at the local diner paid too much attention, their gazes making Cassie uncomfortable in ways Cash had never experienced. "Welcome to womanhood," Dana said grimly. "The male gaze is real and rarely pleasant." "How do you deal with it?" "Ignore them. Stand tall. Don't let them diminish you." Easier said than done, but Cassie tried. The discomfort was educational, another facet of female experience she'd never considered, but it didn't make her want to retreat to Cash's familiar safety. If anything, it strengthened her resolve. Sunday night, back at the cabin, the family gathered around the fireplace. Cassie had changed into comfortable pajamas. Women's pajamas, soft pink with tiny hearts. Another first. "I don't want to go back," she admitted quietly. "Not to being Cash, not full-time, but the thought of putting on his clothes tomorrow, pretending this weekend didn't happen." "Then don't," Melody said simply. "We'll figure it out. I have a job, a life. I can't just—" "Can't you?" Harold spoke up. "Jobs can be navigated. Lives can be adjusted. The question is what you need to be happy." "I don't even know if this is permanent. What if it's just a phase?" "Then it's a phase," Rebecca said. "But what if it's not? What if this is who you've always been, and you're just now finding the courage to acknowledge it?" They talked late into the night, planning possibilities. HR policies at Cash's company were progressive. They'd handled transitions before. Legal name changes were paperwork. Medical transitions were available if wanted. Each step was possible, if Cassie chose to take them. "One day at a time," Melody counseled. "You don't have to decide everything tonight." But some decisions couldn't wait. Monday morning, Cassie woke with certainty. She couldn't go backward. The thought of binding herself back into Cash's constraints felt like suffocation. "I need to call in sick," she told her mother. "I can't. I need time to figure this out." "Then take time. Use your vacation days if you need to. Your mental health matters more than server maintenance." The call to work was awkward but necessary. Cash's supervisor accepted the sudden illness without question, even wishing him well. The masculine pronouns felt like tiny cuts. "Now what?" Cassie asked after hanging up. "Now we take those small steps we talked about," Dr. Chen said during an emergency session that afternoon. What feels manageable today? I want to tell people, my close friends at least, but I don't know how. They role-played scenarios, practiced explanations. The words felt clumsy at first, but gained fluency with repetition. By evening, Cassie had sent 3 text messages to her inner circle. Hey, need to share something important. I've been exploring my gender identity and realized I'm more comfortable presenting as female. Still figuring out exactly what that means, but wanted you to know. Using she, her pronouns, and going by Cassie for now. The responses varied. Confusion from one, immediate support from another, questions from the third. But none were cruel, and that felt like victory. Tuesday brought a return to Dr. Chen's office, this time with Cassie presenting fully female. The simple act of signing in with her chosen name felt revolutionary. You seem different. Dr. Cassie took a deep breath, feeling a sense of relief as the words left her mouth. It was as if a weight had been lifted from her shoulders, and she could finally embrace her true self. It's like I've been living a double life, hiding a part of me that's always been there. I thought I could keep switching between Cassie and Cash indefinitely, but it's not sustainable. Cassie isn't just a persona I adopt. She's me, my authentic self. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to check out my other socials if you want more content, early access, behind the scenes, and more. All links down below.